Another spring sports preview, and I'm joined with the baseball head coach, Matt Reynolds. Coach, always a pleasure to sit down and work with you for the season. Let's start with asking you, what have you seen from the guys so far? First game is Saturday versus Widener, so with the portion of preseason coming to a close, how do you feel about the team?
I feel great. I can't hardly believe that it's coming up this Saturday. We were a little bit shorter this year just because of kind of how February calendar worked out. So it just a couple days seems like we've lost a whole week. But luckily, the weather's been unbelievable. So we've been outside for, I would say at this point, the majority of our practices, and I think this week we'll get a chance to get out there the whole week leading up to Saturday. So that's a huge help. Just being able to get out there and just play the game. We practice all this stuff, and then at some point you just got to get used to actually playing the game at game speed, seeing the baseballs coming off the bat at game speed, and competing. And that's something that I think we're in a good place right now. I think this week of practice is going to be really important because we're and through no fault of anybody, it's just I haven't done it in a while. We're still kind of getting our feet wet as far as getting back into what we need to do to play at the speed and up to the standards that we need to have to be able to win baseball games. So we're getting there, and I'm hoping this week that we'll be ready to go by the end of the week and hit the ground running against Widener.
So now, this season, a lot of experience returns pitching and then in the field and the lineup. We'll start with the pitching and then go into the lineup. Talk about how that experience is going to help you this season.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I'm sure I'll miss a couple of positions, but obviously very experienced behind the plate at shortstop. Even at second base, Luke played a ton last year as a freshman, and so we're bringing back a lot of experience there. We have a lot of depth in the outfield, and Evan, of course, over at first base has played basically the whole time he's been here. So, and then at third, we've got a good competition going on right now.
Yeah.
So it's going to help, and I think the biggest thing is that word competition right there. I think this year more so than my first 2 years, we've got more guys that are competing for spots. And in the outfield, we have a lot of depth. There's a lot of guys competing. There's a lot of guys that are capable. We've got 5 or 6 guys that could end up earning a starting spot at some point. In the infield, we've got, and we've kind of had to do this because of our depth in the middle. We've moved. Multiple players are practicing at multiple positions right now, and it's going to end up being in a situation where guys hit their way into a spot because they've shown to be, at least sufficient defensively at multiple positions. Now it's just going to be who finds their way into the lineup, and to be honest with you, I don't know how the infield's going to look in a month from now.
Yeah.
But that's good. Having that competition is important, and being able to have some pieces that you can move around is good, and then you can just kind of play the guys that are hitting well. And then, from the pitching standpoint, absolutely, it's huge. It's huge. We've got. Let me backtrack a little bit. Positionally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Brian Bakur.
Yeah.
And replacing him, you don't do that. That's not something kind of. Quote Moneyball, how are you going to replace Damon and Giambi? Well, you're not going to. You just can't. So you just hope that the depth and the development of some of our players, collectively, fills that void. And I think, I think that's definitely possible this year in the lineup. We've got, although we're missing a big piece in Brian, you're not going to have one guy hit 415 probably, but I think throughout the lineup we have a better chance to have. A 1 through 9 situation that provides great at bats. And then pitching wise, I would say right now we've got at least 7 guys that are going to end up competing for what ends up being about 4 slots in the Centennial Conference as far as start and rotation goes. So that's fantastic. Our pitchers have done a great job. And position players as well, but especially in the off season, our whole team. I know Coach Jenkins, our strength coach, said that this is by far the best off-season that this program has had since he's been here in terms of just their commitment to strength conditioning, and it's really starting to show up on the field. We've had many pitchers, almost across the board, I should say, that have made huge velocity jumps. We're talking 2, 3, 4, even 5 miles an hour. So that's exciting. And then, in the bullpen, we'll figure out after we figure out who those 4 are going to be, or 5 or so. We'll have some spot starts in there, especially down spring where we're playing once or twice every single day. After that, we'll figure out who our 4 guys are going to be moving forward, and then then that'll leave us with some great options out of the pen. And then from a relief standpoint, those guys will probably pitch in either in short or long relief. And then Bartels has done a nice job, and Sean Weiss has been a real he's made a huge jump, I think, just pitchability wise and also velocity and stuff. So we expect big things out of him in a short relief situation. So it's exciting to have a group of 15 guys. And I think last year we probably had 18 or 19, but we've got 15 this year that every one of them is capable of contributing in some way, shape, or form. So that's exciting because you're feeling like you're out there at practice and you're getting something out of every bullpen. You're getting something out of every live situation that you put these guys in, and you've got the whole staff working towards being better versions of themselves and competing for those innings that we're going to come up. So it's been good. We're excited to get going and see the product on the field against a different uniform.
Yeah. So last question we have here. Look back to the last 2 seasons, really close to just clinching for that final spot. Talk about what you guys want to accomplish this season.
Well, it was when we met with the team a couple weeks ago before we started practice, made it very clear that the goal is to win the conference championship. And that's not something that I didn't say that the first 2 years because, we needed to cross some other bridges first. We needed to get above 500. We needed to be above 500 in the conference. We needed to prove we can win 20 games or 25 games and do some other things. And, unfortunately we came up a run short to the same team, actually to the same player 2 years in a row. So, but even though we didn't get fully to our goals the first 2 years as far as getting ourselves into the playoffs, I feel we played well enough to be there, and it's appropriate this year that we should have the expectation of having a goal of trying to win the whole thing. And that's I like to set realistic goals that I think anybody can come in here and say, oh, we're going to win the national championship this year. Well, probably not. But if I didn't think we had the capability to do it, I wouldn't say it. But I do. But I do think we have that capability. So that's the goal, and that's what we're going to work, every day towards getting there.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. We'll catch you after the game Saturday. Shoremen open up their season at home, Athey Park, with a doubleheader versus Widener.